Thank you all so much for coming out, and judges, thank you all too as well. I'm Ethan Lux. I'm joined with Philip Tripelli. We're the co-founders of Principia Technologies. So essentially what we are is that our product is looking to apply a database solution to retail investment strategies and management of their portfolios. So our motivation really stemmed from the fact that we want to take the essentially the protests and outrage of the disparity between institutional investors and retail investors from Occupy Wall Street, as well as Wall Street Bets on Reddit, and how they are unhappy with and actively trying to counteract the disparity between institutional investors and retail investors, and particularly how those two entities invest in the stock markets. So essentially what we want to do is that we want to take the information from publicly available filings such as your SEC 10K and store them in our database, and then create customized views for those each individual retail investors to not only improve their returns but also give them the confidence to invest and empower those investors to destroy that gap between the institutional investors and the retail investors. So I'll hand it over to Phil to talk about the problem and solution.
Yeah, so the problem that we're trying to solve is, we want to go and create a quantitative, independent research analysis and services company so that essentially retail investors have a better chance against institutional investors, and to increase the informed trading decisions that happen in the markets. So according to NASDAQ surveys, 53% of retail stock trades are done without any objective data-driven investment research prior to trading. So obviously, you shouldn't go and make any investment decision without, being confident in your analysis first. And that's really what we want to kind of drive home with this. We want to go and provide a platform where people can feel confident about how they invest their money, and they know exactly what they're getting with it. So retail investors earn on average of 3 to 6% annual returns, and right before at the end there's supposed to be institutional investors earn on average 10% annual returns. So we want to go and decrease this gap and provide retail investors with a way for them to kind of decrease this gap and learn along the way as well. So the solution that we're going for is a database platform that scrapes public filings and presents financial data in an easily digestible manner. And so most importantly, we want to reduce the research time that it takes to make an informed decision. So there's a huge amount of sources out there, but people aren't going to spend all day. They have jobs and they have other things to do with their lives. So we want to go and provide them with something that they can easily go through, a few different steps and provide themselves with enough confidence to make a somewhat good decision for themselves. So, I'm just going to go through this, the different aspects that you can see the service providing. So you're going to save money from subscription services. So this is from not only news, financial research, and the tools that you go and use for plotting and analysis. So you'll be able to learn through our website. It'll have a bunch of information on how you go and make stock trades, how you analyze companies both fundamentally and technically through statistical analysis, as well as learn about the process by which the markets operate. So how stock trades are done in terms of how they're routed through the financial system and all of that. So you'll be able to invest confidently with your analysis. I kind of explained this already. You'll be able to go through some simple steps to, provide yourself with enough confidence going forward, and you'll be able to share your ideas across the platform. So you'll be able to go and collaborate with other people and essentially, provide yourself with other peers, and the information that they're creating. So 10.9 million free users on Morningstar. So as you can see, there's a huge amount of people who are interested in financial information. So in the case of Morningstar, that's really for them their star ranking system for both index and mutual funds, but also their stock ranking system too. So 56% of Americans report to own stocks, and 40% of those Americans didn't know their portfolio allocation. So this is kind of just driving home.
So the reason why this hasn't been done before is that as technology changes, so do the markets and how technology affects those markets. So previously, the market was too small for companies like Morningstar and TradingView to come into this specific small market that they viewed was not quite mature enough for significant investment from said companies. And so the reason why it started to change this is because as technology improves and miniaturization creates more mobile devices, such as your laptops, your iPhone, as well as your tablets, you can trade anywhere in the world within minutes. Now, we would like to discourage you trading within minutes of learning something because we want to slow down that process a little bit so that way you can make rational, educated stock trades instead of relying on emotion and momentum of the stock when you are making specific investments. So in terms of these mobile devices, it makes it really easy, and within seconds you could do any trade that you want. Additionally, due to the fragmentation of the industry and the competition, there hasn't been a major shakeout yet, and so there's still a lot of platforms that you can actively trade on and get information on those specific stocks. And so what it essentially does is it's created the industry is commoditized to the point where it's easy and cheap for retail investors to really start getting into the stock trading market and be an actual impactful force like we saw with Wall Street Bets and how that they were taking on the hedge funds and the institutional investors with said GME stocks and AMC stocks. So essentially it's decentralized the market and it's put the power back into the retail investors' hands, and we want to amplify that by empowering them with educated decisions. And to really reiterate how this market is changing over the last 4 years, the retail investment market has gained a 40% in growth. So in terms of our market potential, we first wanted to figure out through research who is most likely going to be using this product. We started very big. We went with millennials between 25 and 35, so that gave us a very broad scope of about 25 million individuals. And we found some white papers and some articles that stated that 47% of these people in this target market actually have an investment portfolio with stocks or mutual funds or other avenues of getting returns on their money. And 57% of that segment manage their own investment portfolio via apps or E-Trade or Fidelity. So they are taking that, the stock trading potential that the industry has created, and they're managing on their own, which is a total difference from their parents who were using advisors or CFPs to manage their stock portfolios, their short or their long-term investment portfolios. And so we narrowed that down. So 47% on top of 57%, we came to a target market of 7 million customers, which gives a total available market of $1.3 billion. Additionally, it also gains about 3% growth every year. Then I hand over to Philip to talk about our competitors.
Yeah, so as you can see, there's a decent amount of competitors in this space. Obviously, it's a really competitive space. I've personally used all of the competitors in that list. So I'm just going to start off with Bloomberg. Bloomberg is great, obviously. SMU gives you free terminals, but when you're out of school and when you are, when you're working, it costs $24,000 per terminal for one. So if you go and buy two, it goes down to $20,000, but still that's not very helpful. It's just it's overpriced for the normal person, to be honest. So Trefis and Morningstar, those are subscription-based platforms. Trefis, of course, is more of a fundamental analysis by breaking down the business segments. So typically, if you're on your brokerage platform, it'll go and show you exactly how a business's operating income comes from all of the different segments that they operate in.
In terms of our specific business model, we did a lot of research and found the average retail investor portfolio. We looked at the average returns between a retail investor versus an investment. Thank you all.